So, when a technology as huge as generative AI comes along, how does a massive organization like Microsoft actually get its thousands of engineers to use it? It's not about just handing out shiny new tools. It's a story about culture, about mindset, and really about fundamentally changing how work gets done. Okay, let's dive into Microsoft's internal AI playbook.
And it really truly was a shockwave. Inside Microsoft's own IT organization, just like everyone else, there was this crazy mix of excitement, deep curiosity, and, yeah, a pretty healthy dose of skepticism. The big question on literally everyone's mind was, what does this really mean for how we do our jobs?
And this was the crucial point. Look, it's one thing for engineers to play around with a new AI tool. That's easy. But it's a whole other thing to build a system where they actually trust it, rely on it, and weave it into their core workflows. This is the central challenge that Microsoft Digital, the company's own IT team, set out to solve.
So, where do you even start? Well, you think the first hurdle would be about the technology, right? But surprisingly, it wasn't. It was about understanding. Most engineers had seen the headlines, sure, but they didn't yet see how AI could fit into their day-to-day work. So, phase one was all about closing that gap.
Now, what's really smart about this strategy is what they didn't do. Microsoft knew that top-down mandates like "you must use AI" would just backfire. So instead, they focused on exposure. They put tools like GitHub Copilot right where engineers already were. They were super honest about AI's flaws, the hallucinations, the mistakes, framing it as an assistant you guide, not some perfect replacement you should fear. And this is critical: no forced quotas. Engineers were just encouraged to try it on small, low-risk stuff, letting those little wins build confidence and drive adoption organically.
But just giving people access? Well, that was only the beginning. The next phase, and maybe the most important one, was all about shifting the entire culture around AI. This is where the real transformation started to happen.
And this quote from Mukul Singhal just nails it. As soon as engineers actually started using the tools in this safe, experimental way, their whole perspective changed. That fear of being replaced, it started to fade away, and a new idea took hold. What if this AI thing could be a powerful partner in my work?
And this shift wasn't just happening in small pockets. As Vera Mamela points out here, this was a widespread transformational change. What began as individual curiosity started turning into a collective belief that AI wasn't just a novelty, it was a genuinely valuable asset for engineering. It's where community learning really took over.
And this slide just illustrates that evolution perfectly. The question changed from a skeptical, "Will AI even work?" to a statement of fact, "AI is working for me." The whole perception of AI shifted from being just a shortcut to a tool that could actually strengthen engineering fundamentals. Better design, faster feedback, clearer documentation, the whole shebang.
So with a new culture starting to take root, the conversation naturally turned to skills. If AI is going to be our new partner, what does that mean for the role of the engineer? It wasn't about replacing people, it was about evolving what they were capable of.
Microsoft made a really crucial decision here. Instead of creating some new job title called AI engineer, they focused on fostering an AI-native mindset. And this is so key. An AI-native engineer still owns the architecture, the risk, the final outcome. The big difference is that they delegate the routine, tedious work to AI, which frees them up to focus on judgment, design, and accountability, the stuff that humans do best. So practically speaking, the work itself actually changed. It moved from an engineer doing every single little task by hand to an engineer guiding an AI partner and then reviewing its work, and then, finally, to a state of human oversight, where the engineer is more like an orchestrator for the whole process and is ultimately accountable for the results.
Okay, all of this sounds great in theory, but what really makes it stick? Well, the answer is simple. You have to make engineers' daily lives better. The true turning point came when AI started eliminating toil, that necessary but totally draining work that just bogs everyone down. This quote from Beth Garrison says it all, doesn't it? You can talk about productivity all day long, but when you show an engineer that you can take away their most tedious, repetitive tasks, that's when their eyes light up. This wasn't just some side benefit. It was the catalyst that made AI feel absolutely indispensable.
And here are some real-world examples. Before, troubleshooting an incident meant manually digging through endless logs, trying to piece together what on earth happened. Afterwards, an AI agent could generate that context for you automatically. Instead of chasing logs across a dozen different devices, AI could just analyze the signals for you. This freed up massive amounts of time and mental energy for higher-value problem solving.
Right, so the final piece of this puzzle was how they measured success. Early on, they tracked usage, who was using the tools. But they quickly realized that usage isn't the goal. The real question became, is work getting better? So they shifted to measuring impact, things like faster design cycles, shorter incident resolution times, and of course, a reduction in that soul-crushing toil.
Look, this journey is far from over, but the path Microsoft took offers a really clear set of lessons for any organization looking to do the same thing. It's a phased approach that's built on people, culture, and just continuous learning.
So, if there's one key takeaway from this whole playbook, it's this. Success comes from meeting engineers where they are. It's a journey that starts not with a mandate, but with safe access. It's about reframing AI as a partner, evolving skills instead of getting rid of roles, and finally, measuring the one thing that truly, truly matters, making an engineer's day better.
And that really leaves us with a final question to consider for our own teams. Because the biggest lesson from Microsoft's journey is that true AI transformation isn't about just adopting the next shiny tool. It's about fundamentally rethinking and rebuilding the entire system of how work gets done.